Welcome into the 49ers Report. My name is Cam Rogers. Let's go through the latest 49ers rumors out there, and we start things off with, are the 49ers the 19th best team in the National Football League? It's power rankings time during this point in the week, and the consensus out there is that San Francisco is ranked 19th. I'm going to give it to Jetheads only. I don't believe in that number per se. I think 15, 16, 17 makes more sense for me. The good news is the 49ers looked a lot better against the Lions than they did against the Minnesota Vikings. That said, the Jets basically put up 50 points against the Detroit Lions in Week 1. So, it's all relative at this point in the season. Small sample size in 2018, only 2 games, so power rankings at this point in the year really don't matter all that much. So I'm going to give it to the 2 Jetheads for now. We'll see what San Francisco can do this week against an upstart Kansas City Chiefs team that should be really good throughout the entire season. Now I'm going to ask you, where would you rank the 49ers in the NFL? I told you that I think 16, 15, somewhere around there makes some sense for me. They should not be a bottom feeder team. They should not be in the 20s for sure, definitely not in the 30s. So let me know what you think. Hit me up in comments. Want to hear what you guys have to say about that question. Next up, did the 49ers want Josh Gordon? Yeah, they did. 4 Jetheads on this one, of course. The newly acquired wide receiver for the New England Patriots. Of course, Kyle Shanahan said that the Patriots simply offered more than what the 49ers were willing to give up. So here's the thing. The Patriots gave up a 5th-round pick to get this guy. The 49ers don't have a 5th-round pick in 2019 due to the Lincoln Tomlinson trade. And they don't have a 7th-round pick due to the Sean Coleman deal. Now, a 4th-round pick for a guy who hasn't played 16 games since 2012 is a bit of a tall asking price there. So I'm not too surprised San Francisco lost to the higher bidder here. They didn't really have the draft capital to make the move enticing if you are the Cleveland Browns there. But the 49ers tried, and the big takeaway point here with this rumor is that San Francisco was in the market for a wide receiver, and I'll talk about a couple of high-profile guys later in the show here that maybe the 49ers will go out and inquire about or acquire via a trade or sign off free agency. So stay tuned on that. Meanwhile, our friends at BETDSI have the odds down on the total receiving yards in 2018 for Josh Gordon. So over 875.5 yards, you got minus 100 odds there. Under 875.5 yards, minus 120 odds on that one. So where are you guys going here? Over, under? Let me know in the comments section. Our friends at BetDSI have the latest odds on that. Plus, so much more at chatsports.com/bet. Use that promo code ALIVE120 for that 120% deposit bonus. Free money when you can bet on Josh Gordon, the 49ers, and so much more. Let's talk about the injuries out there for San Francisco. Maybe Jaquiski Tartt could be out for Week 3 against the Kansas City Chiefs. I will leave this firmly in the rumor category for now. Just 2 Jetheads because it's early in the week. There's really no telling yet. I want to see how the practice week goes first. But Tartt left the game during the Week 2 matchup against the Detroit Lions due to a shoulder injury. Shanahan said in an update on Monday that Tartt is day-to-day as he deals with this stinger, as he calls it. And again, we'll see how the injury report comes out here. But if Tartt is out, that means Anton Exum is likely going to replace him there at strong safety as you take a look at the secondary there for San Francisco. Richard Sherman, CB1. There's Witherspoon. I'll talk about him later. He is struggling mightily. K'Wan Williams is playing well at nickel. And there's Tartt and then Colbert there, your 2 starting safeties. But health is obviously proving to be an issue for this team. Brock Coyle, done for the year. Malcolm Smith can't find his way onto the football field. Mike Person has been dinged up. Josh Garnett as well. And now Jaquiski Tartt. This is not good news considering we just wrapped up Week 2 of the NFL season. So very much in the early going. All right, so is Matt Breida leading the NFL in rushing right now? He actually is, and the leaders in NFL in rushing, really not exactly household names out there. So Matt Breida's 184 yards on the ground are the highest total in the NFL, as his 8.4 yards per carry average, too. So after losing Jerick McKinnon, it felt like the sky was falling in Santa Clara because, well, who's going to run the football now? All the buzz went to Alfred Morris. But here's Matt Breida in Week 2 against the Detroit Lions, 11 carries, 138 yards, a touchdown. Of course, that 66-yard scamper that he had during that matchup there. Breida so far is filling in nicely at a time when, like I said, Alfred Morris was supposed to be this guy to break out for San Francisco because he has the experience of playing for Kyle Shanahan and all that. The workload between Breida and Morris to this point has been dead even, basically. It'll be interesting to see if Breida sees more opportunities on the ground. All right, folks. Oh, boy. Speaking of the sky is falling, something is going on in Pittsburgh right now. Are the San Francisco 49ers going to acquire the best wide receiver in the National Football League, Antonio Brown? Just the one Jethead for now, guys. I'm not going to give you any false hope, but here is the backstory to all of this. Brown is obviously frustrated with leadership in Pittsburgh. He was visibly angry on the sideline during that Week 2 game against the Chiefs. He recently took to Twitter to say, hypothetically, trade me to see if I'm actually as good as advertised when I'm not with Ben Roethlisberger. So could John Lynch give the Steelers a call? I'm not going to rule it out because, again, you look at the Josh Gordon rumor. Yeah, the 49ers looked into him. Maybe John Lynch offers a treasure chest. Here is my projected Antonio Brown deal. 2019 first-round pick. 2019 second-round pick. Throw in Garrett Selleck as well because you have George Kittle at tight end. Maybe Selleck is expendable. And the San Francisco 49ers get Antonio Brown. This is like so amazing to actually think about because it's almost Madden-esque. But it's not like we're just thinking of this out of nowhere. Antonio Brown used the word trade on Twitter. There is visual evidence of him being angry with the coaching staff on the sidelines. And oh, by the way, the guy didn't show up to meetings on Monday. So if you're the GM, you're John Lynch, would you attempt to trade for Antonio Brown? Time for you to vote Y for yes, N for no. Let me know what you guys think because there actually are people out there that are like, well, why would we give up all that for a guy who's only going to be in his prime for 2 more years? First of all, 2 more years? Come on, more than that. But be sure to let me know what you guys think about this. The 49ers are very much in the market for a wide receiver. Maybe they can grab Antonio Brown. Or the alternative could be Dez Bryant. Now, same amount of jet heads on Dez here. Again, I'm being very realistic with you guys here, but NJ.com recently released some BETDSI odds for signing Dez Bryant, and the 49ers check in at plus 600 here. I think the Dez Bryant to San Francisco scenario is essentially done, but I'm bringing him up again because obviously San Francisco is not staying pat in terms of finding a new toy on the outside for Jimmy Garoppolo. In all, aside from the Gordon rumor, there's really no evidence that San Francisco is interested in Dez Bryant. Now, I have my updated top 5 fits for Dez, and I got New England at 1, Philadelphia at 2, Cleveland sits there at 3, Arizona at 4, and then Washington at number 5. San Francisco, I guess, is inside the top 10, but it's a big-time drop-off after Philadelphia on my list. Now, think about it from a team perspective here. Would you want to be on a team with Dez Bryant? So you're an NFL player out there, and you hear that your general manager is thinking about signing Dez Bryant. Would you want that? Go ahead and react on Facebook Live. Like for yes, heart for no. Comment with your respective emojis on YouTube as well. So some juicy rumors out there about some high-profile wide receivers. But how about the wide receivers that are currently on this roster? Are they getting any separation for Jimmy Garoppolo? They're really not. So everybody likes to blame the quarterback these days. The reality is, well, 27.1% of Garoppolo's throws have been in tight windows. Really cool stat here from NFL Next Gen Stats. That is the second highest rate in the National Football League. The worst rate is from the Buffalo Bills, and their wide receivers are just darn right putrid. So the fact that San Francisco is there at number 2, next to a team that is probably going to go 2-14, maybe 1-15, maybe winless in the Buffalo Bills, that's not a sight you want to see. Now, Jacksonville, Denver, New England, those are potential playoff teams, so it's a bit Jekyll and Hyde, if you will, on this list. Some playoff teams and some bottom feeders in the league. The reality is, though, the 49ers need Marquise Goodwin back on the football field because Jimmy Garoppolo is not getting a lot of separation from the other wide receivers out there. Looking at you, Pierre Garçon and Trent Taylor, where have you been? So the list goes on there. All right, folks, clothing here at Chat Sports is brought to you by Mizzen and Maine. I am wearing one of their shirts right now. Literally just stuffed it into my backpack today, and I pull it out. No wrinkles. It's a beautiful thing. It's so easy to just travel with. It's so portable. Go ahead and get a shirt for yourself. Comfortable.af is indeed the website. All right, so speaking of Marquise Goodwin, is he going to play in Week 3? I feel pretty confident about this one. I'm going to give it the 3 Jedheads here. He missed Week 2 due to a quad injury, did not practice throughout last week, so be sure to monitor his status throughout this week. If he logs a couple of limited practices and then maybe gets a full-on practice on Friday, that would be really important for Goodwin's chances to play against the Kansas City Chiefs here. And boy, does Jimmy Garoppolo need Goodwin. This could be a shootout at Arrowhead, especially when you look at the way in which Patrick Mahomes has been playing on the football field so far. 10 touchdowns through 2 games, an NFL record to start a season, beating out the likes of Drew Brees and Peyton Manning. So Goodwin needs to be on the football field. Definitely track how he practices throughout the week. And guess who's back, folks? Reuben Foster. Is he playing this week? I'm pretty confident in this one as well. 3 Jedheads here. They activated him off the suspension list. And according to reports out there, to make room for Foster, the 49ers dropped Matt Tobin, offensive guard there. So Foster is the starter on the latest edition of the 49ers linebacker depth chart here. So we will put him in there at Mike, which means Fred Warner takes a step back there on the depth chart. There is Malcolm Smith as well. Got to track his health because he has been basically absent for the 49ers so far this season. Now, think about it from an impact perspective. What is the impact here for Reuben Foster? Because honestly, Fred Warner has been playing really well. So the worry is more with the secondary compared to the linebacking core and the defensive line from a run-stopping perspective. The worry isn't so much there. So let me know in comments what you think about Reuben Foster. It's obviously great to have him back in that starting lineup.